Hi, Libra. Yeah, maybe a good inhale, exhale. So Pisces time, or whenever you find this, welcome to this place. So this is an adjustment time for you, right? I don't know about you, but in March, Pisces time, my heart is always a little bit tender. It's a great time of healing. Not a time for your energy though. To, I suppose, one warning could be where no big huge decisions. Right, because you're idealistic, and so is Pisces, being exalted in your ruler Venus. So sometimes it's like, it may seem like something where you're like, oh, but it could be an illusion, you know. So just remember, use the power of this expansive, blessed, hallowed time in ways of healing. And actually, before you're reading, one of the messages was something about, I saw a person that was just being very kind and understanding to, and having an awareness to like what's going on with other people, but not judging them. And I feel like this is natural to your energy anyway. But there was like an intention with it. Not necessarily just for the other person's, excuse me. Well, I guess what it was about coming into this heart space, I guess, is the point. And keeping yourself in that heart space and understanding. Okay. Oh, there's a song, too. Which I highly suggest listening and dancing to. It's a really good song. It's called Long Train Runnin' by the Doobie Brothers. I really like the Doobie Brothers. This is off a pretty, like, bluesy, funky album. Like, they have harmonica solos and things like that. But it says, down around the corner, a half a mile from here, you can see them old trains running, and you watch them disappear. Without love, where would you be now? You know, I saw Miss Lucy down along the tracks. She lost her home and her family, and she won't be coming back. Without love, where would you be right now? So that might be just a good question for you. Question of the day. Capricorn had questions too, kind of in their song specifically. There's also something about Aquarius for you. I suppose Saturn will be trining your energy, so that could also be something you'd want to look up. Whatever stars you have in Libra trine Saturn. I would see that as a growth and maturity. To aligning more of the ethereal, or like these higher realms, into more of this physical world, right? I'm seeing like a mirroring of something, but it's not just a mirror where it bounces off of each other. It's more like a bridge. Thanks, Yumi. So Okay, so when you connect with something, you ever thought about how there's a difference between, I don't know what this tickle is. There's a difference between, there can be a difference between feeling and touch, right? You'd think these would be the same senses. And they can go together, right? You can touch it and feel it. You can touch it and there's no feeling. You can feel it and not touch it. Things to think about. Okay. Would you pardon me a moment? I really feel parched and I want to try to soothe whatever this is. And I'll be right back, okay? I need to give myself a second. Thank you. You know, sometimes it only takes a few minutes to recalibrate once we stop ignoring whatever the thing is that's trying to get our attention, right? And figure out what's tight or what we can change that's really simple to make it a bit more fluid, right? Have the energy be lighter. So let's see what's going on with this bridge. There's a bridge of love. Who had that before? The bridge of love. Pisces had the bridge of light. But I feel like this was a different, like an older reading. Scorpio also talked about the bridge. Okay, so the visitor. Maybe a bridge is important. Maybe some of you will go on a journey. There's someone that goes on a journey. And therefore, even when you're like on the other side, someone's on the other side of it, there's still like a meeting place. It's like the boundary isn't so literal. Suppose a friend could come visit you, or maybe planning a bit of travel this year could be good for you. Or what are your plans around that? Doesn't, you know, near or far, however you're trying to expand and explore. Actually, some traveling. If some of you travel or go to places where you don't usually go, you may meet people. Like, you could meet another best friend of yours, or you could meet like a brother from another mother, or like, you know, your best homegirl, or I heard all my relations. Could be an unexpected visit too. What's that? What's that about? Oh, watch boundaries then a little bit too. Okay. Wherever you are, go, or within you. Venus is really, really highlighted. I also see a lot of Geminian energy. So that air trine, all the air. I feel like you're feeling more comfortable in yourself if you'll be finding more. Maybe you'll find more strength in what you've been seeking in ways of comfort. I also see that there's very wise counsel here. You may give it yourself to others. It could also be where you have some kind of, this card here actually represents the Oracle of Delphi. So, again, wise counsel here. Through people, yes. Also through the trees or through the wind. Okay? Huh. Let's keep moving. I see Capricorn and Pisces. Okay, sometimes this card is very much about protecting oneself or protecting what they have created or are connected to very strongly. And it could be one of those things like, right, this card is entitled Gaia, which is Earth. Right? If you think about it, you know how some people are like, ugh, the turkey vulture is ugly, which it's not. It's so beautiful and peaceful. The golden purifier is its name in Latin, you know. But some people think that bird is wretched, you know. Some people don't like the briars that grow in the wood, so they call them, you know, like devil's thorns or whatever. Like people have, no one is going to like everything. About everything, meaning you can't, it's really, I see too much on your shoulders to try to satisfy everyone. What's important here is that those who it reminds me of Scorpios had a message once. It was like, those who understand you, you know, they get it, I guess, speak your language or what have you, then that's cool. And the people that don't, that's okay too. Most of the time when people don't like something, it's just because they don't understand it, most of the time. So don't worry about that. You don't have to, Pisces talked a bit about this, you don't have to compete to be like, although it's interesting because didn't we talk about this in the yearly readings? It's like you, Taurus, Pisces, Cancerian energy, this softer, even bit of Capricorn. It's like this softer energy that's usually a bit more passive is actually meant to sort of step forward. Maybe it's because it's the year of the rabbit and the rabbit is feminine, right? So I guess in one way you're allowed to compete, which reminds me of that old reading, Ready to Win. Remember? When you've been training so hard and studying so long and wanting to do it because you wanted to participate with it. And then when you were really close to this, a point of success in a way, or I guess getting to a marker of it, you know, you have this tendency, the feminine, shy energy has a tendency to slow down and allow someone else to win because you don't feel like you deserve things. So I guess what's the question? Well, I'm seeing a diamond. Just a second. How are you like your friends? How are you different from your friends? Or how are your friends like you? How are you different? How are they different from you? I suppose this could just be people. Was Jesus a Libra? Probably, right, with all the peaceful nature. The like, I'm not going to hurt anything. You know, I don't want to hurt anything. Ever. Almost like a Buddhist, kind of. And so sometimes, is it sometimes you don't do things you're like, oh, I don't want to hurt feelings, or I don't want hurt feelings, is what I see. Interesting. Let's choose a few more cards for you. I feel like the timing it's really mellow today. Thank you. Oh, nice. Aries had this, and fulfillment, and I feel like it's that full moon. The next full moon that's in water, too, would be May, right? I also saw the month of October, both of those, and again, that kind of emphasizes that Venusian energy. Oh, Athena and Hera, both of them. So, with both these people, these stories here, these are really strong individuals. And they were judged a lot for who it is that they were, but they were themselves anyway. So you had a dream. Someone had a dream. It's been some time since this dream was like seen, or this vision was seen. I don't feel like it was scary, but it was something that you were aware of. And it's like you're going to remember. It's like you had a vision, or you had a dream, or something like this. Or someone had told you, you know, said a little sprinkle of something, this oracle, right? It was a little sprinkle. And all of a sudden it's going to connect back to this other place, which makes, again, this bridge of like inner standing. Which I suppose alleviates any fear and brings in that bridge of love. Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, those, so May, June, July. May, June, July. There's something about that time frame. I see it twice here. I feel like that's a very positive sign. Maybe some of you will do something. This is something. Well, I see the word brave. But it's not brash. There is a very, very, very strong protective energy here. It's almost motherly in a way. I feel like I made a little face when I said that. Do you care what other people think about you? Or rather, when does that bother you? Right? Because it bothers everybody. When does that bother you? Or when do you worry about that? Where you're like, well, I heard I am who I am. I am who I am. Because it's like this innocent place, you know. It's not like this big... Huh. Black, white, and red, too. Black and white and red. The House of Leaves. Have you ever read that book? Where the there's only a few things that I remember of that book, because I feel like when you read that book, you go into a like dream time. It's like a really Neptunian book. But the two things I remember is it did have black and white in the pages, right? But there were certain words that were highlighted in red. And the second part being that the house that they speak of was, the inside was actually bigger than the footprint of the outside. And once you went into the house, that's when I like went to another world, and it's like a different place once you go in there. Maybe it's just such a personal experience. But I suggest that the book is suggested. It's interesting, or just thinking about that concept. I suppose that's a bit of our soul, or our energy, right? Our energy definitely expands beyond our own physical body. But I suppose that only happens once we let our walls down. And I saw, like, we talked about with that Ace of Cups coming up and out. What do you love? What do you love that you are connected to or committed to? You love home, right? You love your friends. You love to travel. Love to dress up. You love different people. You love flowers. What's your favorite flower? What kind of leaves do you like too? You know, like what shape leaves? You know, are they pointed? Are they rounded? Are they thick? Are they thin? What color are they? Who are your artistic friends too? And I feel like, you know, sometimes we think, oh, when I'm in a good mood or I'm happy, I'm not supposed to like lean on to something or lean into something, because happy would be like I'm holding my own, right? And yeah, that's true and good. But I suppose I keep seeing this light. Because I guess, you know, wherever there's been like a dark place, once, you know, you see the light, it's so bright that it's like blinding, right? You're like, wow, I can't see anything. You have to adjust, you know, or adapt to this new sight, this new seeing. Who in your life is quite confident too. And then I heard someone say, I can do it, or you can do it. Maybe this is finding new levels of connections also, to things without necessarily like having to ultimately sacrifice who you are, or like forget who you are. I mean, I know that's changing all the time, right? Maybe it goes back into that feel touch thing, you know? Oh, I wish you were here with me. It's so mellow and like chill today. The air is moving like just enough that you can feel it, but it's not pushing anything. It just sort of is, you can tell that it's moving. Smells good too with all the flowers blooming. Maybe there will be more understanding around home, like that 4th, 10th axis, you know, home, work, choices around this. Maybe it's just putting ideas on how you'd like that to feel in different ways, or maybe realizing like how much you touch, like what you do and how that touches others, right? You know, someone's like, oh, that's so touching, even though it's not physical, right? It's interesting, these words. I feel like any of the Capricorn, Pisces, Aries will all record on the same day, and I feel like if you want to go into that space, that could help. I mean, Aries is your mirror, Capricorn is your square adjustment, and Pisces your inconjunct, so your balance point. So these different bridges, right? The longest bridge is to Aries, though, right? Remember, no big, huge choices in this time. Okay, you can think about what you'd like to do. Again, ideas. But there can be a lot of illusion, even to certain solutions. So again, just contemplation, good. Major, concrete, long-term things. Take a minute. Wait till. Things warm up. The seasons shift a little bit, right? Okay. I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Lastly, all of you who extended your love for Zumi, thank you. I didn't reply because I've already said this, but it's true. It's like I think I read them, like went in and read them a couple times, and it was just so sweet. And it made me cry every time that I couldn't even see the screen to reply, but I felt it. Zumi appreciates it. You know, I'd never had anything like that in my life, you know, something that really encapsulated all of these different roles in my life, you know. Like, sometimes we were homegirls, you know, and sometimes she was my dog, and sometimes she was my mom, and sometimes she was my kid, and sometimes she was my sister, and all of the time she was my mentor, you know, and my teacher. And it's taken me a little while to figure out, although I suppose it goes a little faster with animals. We seem to be more understanding with nature and ways of change. Our own nature is a little different, but, you know, it's like I'm sort of learning to walk. Deb, you called it. It's like, you know, sometimes you gotta learn how to walk differently when you become a different person, how you carry yourself, you know, the speed of things, when things change. And I'm just so grateful all of us had an experience, you know, got to connect with her. And that she's obviously still here with us, because here we are. So, all right. Thank you. Zoomy Town. God, I love her. All right. You take care of yourself, okay? And I'll talk to you next time.